everyone. Hi, welcome back to another episode of What Next here on Adobe Live. My name is Anika and I will be your host today. Thank you so much for joining me. I see a lot of friends in the chat and our lovely moderator Val. Hey Val, and hey, welcome on in everyone. If you are joining this live on Behance or YouTube, say hello in the chat. I can see your questions, your comments, and we can also talk about the recap of the last two streams. I assigned a task to you all, so I hope you are here prepared with all the answers. I know Val is, so make sure to put those in the chat. But I want to welcome you all again here. My name is Anika. Did I say that already? But I see a lot of friends in chat. Hey Misha, hey Val, what's up? How you doing? Jack, Axel, Cody Bear, Katerina, Clever, Jack. Yes. Thank you so much you all for joining. If you joined us before for the first two episodes of What Next, we are doing everything designed for your portfolio. In the first episode, we learned how to create a passion project for your portfolio, and I have been working on this really fun wine. At least I think it's fun. It's a very fun wine branding project that I've been working on. It's called Juniper Wines, and I'm gonna segue into my screen really quickly. And if you know, we were working on this design brief. Val can share a link to this creative brief in chat, and I just decided to share this template with you all to think about how you can think about a brief for your project. So you don't necessarily have to comment in here, but if you'd like to ask any questions, feel free to comment here. You can just say, hey Anika, how do I do so and so, right? You can just comment in here and I will be able to answer your questions here directly. But this is something to help you so that you all can create your own brief. But what are we going to dive into today? We are learning how to pitch yourself or you. We all know that cold emails are a thing, but I feel like in this advanced age of like content and a lot of heavy content, I want to pitch myself to clients with like a video presentation of me, or maybe something like a presentation deck which showcases my personality, my brand colors, and all of the things that I've done in my portfolio before. So I came up with this idea of coming up with a presentation deck for yourself. So I am using InDesign. I am in Adobe InDesign today. So if you have any questions, make sure to ask them. And the assignment from last time was actually thinking about the first 5 brands that you see when you wake up in the morning. They can be anything. They can be Listerine. They can be Coffee Mate, which is a coffee brand, as Val mentioned, and Apple, and you check your phone. That's the first thing that you do. So the idea behind that was essentially thinking about what kind of industry you're working in, and then you use that as a basis for your passion project, because I think everyday life is really inspiring and everything that we do is like, it's so fun because you can essentially use that daily activity into your branding, make it into a passion project, and you'll be so passionate about it for real and not really a passion project because you're actually doing those things. And so you'll be more interested in it, you'll be more inspired to do it. And I would love to help you if you want to know what kind of mockups you can use for those projects. So feel free to put them in the chat. But before further ado, I want to go in here. This is how InDesign looks like. This is the Learn tab, and there's essentially a lot of tutorials here. You can find more at adobe.com as well, which is going to take you to the tutorial page. But how do we get started? I feel like often all of us are really intimidated by InDesign and we're like, oh, page layout, how do I do this? So I'm going to click on, all I did was clicked on new file right here, and I see that these are my recent items. If you worked in InDesign before, you will see these recent items, but I am going to go to web this time because I feel like the PDF portfolios are essentially a thing. I won't print my portfolio, but I would probably use this like a web version. So I'm going to go here and I'm going to make it a 1920 by 1080 real quick and see how that works out for me. Now, I'm only using one page for right now because I want to show you how if you make a mistake, you don't really remember to put 0 in here because you wanted 10 pages. Even if you create a document, you can still go back to your document settings and change the number of pages and all of these. For margins, I am going to leave it as default just because I don't want to mess with any of these settings for now. And bleed, I don't think I need this because I'm not going to print, and neither do I need the slug option. I'm going to click on create and we see this new document that came up right here. Again, I want to welcome on in a few more friends in the chat. We have Bliss, Oliver, Barbara. Hi, welcome on in. Thank you so much for joining. I'm just showing how to create a new document. If you have any questions, let me know. So this is essentially a new document that I've created in InDesign. And before we get started into anything, I want to talk about workspaces. I do have my workspace, which is something that I have created for my convenience, but you can always go ahead and click on Essentials Classic, which is what I have selected for today. So let's actually see what we have in here. We have pages right here. We have the CC libraries as well. This is my CC library, and what I really love about the Creative Cloud applications is that you can essentially create as many assets in these libraries, and you can simply import it. So if I have something like this, I can just click and drag it here, and there you go. You have everything from your Illustrator file, if you remember me creating these files, right? So it's super easy. You can essentially do this, and that's actually something we're going to do today. We're also going to create a brand guideline deck using an Adobe stock template, which is free for you to use. So if you don't know where to start, you can go to stock.adobe.com/free, and you can click over here and look for brand guide. That is what I will do later on in the stream. Now, there are multiple filters, and we're going to talk about that in just a second. I'm going to quickly go back to my InDesign file and talk about what are parent pages and how we can use them in our workflow. So as you can see, this is the pages panel, and this can be sometimes confusing. We have a default parent page here. I'm just going to click on new parent just to show you how that works. We have this dialog box that pops up that says new parent. There's a prefix. You can name the parent. I'm just going to call this a cover page. You can base this parent on a different page, which we'll talk about that in just a second. You can change the size. You can change the number of pages as well. I'm going to click on OK, and we see there's this new parent page that was just created. We did talk about what happens if you don't know how many pages you're going to create. So I just made one page here, right? So I'm going to zoom out really quickly to show you how that looks like. It is just one page, but what if I'm making a presentation deck and I need more than one page? You can go to File, you can go to Document Setup, and you see this dialog box that's popping up, which is basically how you can change the setup. Immediately you see that the number of pages are highlighted. I'm going to select 10 really quickly. You can make it, if it's a book layout, you can make it facing pages, or if it's just a presentation deck, you can keep it as not selected. I'm going to click OK, and immediately there's all of these pages that were popped up. And if you're wondering, this is not how the default settings are for horizontal layout. I just find that in my workflow, it's easier to see things if I have it something set up like this. But if you don't have it set up like this by default, you can go to this hamburger menu right here, click on it, go to view pages, and this is the default setting. And it's honestly really tiny when you first open it, and it's something like this. And this doesn't allow, if there's like a lot of pages in the spread, it doesn't allow me to see everything clearly. And so I just go to view pages and click on horizontally, and it just gives me more real estate to work on, like more time, more real estate. So anyway, let's go back to here. I'm going to go back. These were just a few basics that I wanted to talk about before we actually dive into the pitch deck. I'm going to close this and put it to the side for a second, and we have this guy. So I'm actually going to open my pages tab really quickly just to show you what pages I have. So I have plenty of pages in here, and we're going to walk through what kind of pages we have. We learned how to create a new parent page, but we did not add anything in there. So we do have a cover in here as well, which is just my name. I do have some paragraph styles in here as well. So I did create some of these basic paragraph styles here as well, and character styles for all the headlines that I wanted. So what if I want to change this paragraph style and maybe want to apply the same style to something else in the same document? How do I do that? I'm going to click this real quick, which is the plus icon right here. You can click this guy, and there will be a new character style that you can name. I'm going to call it test style just for now, because I just want to test if it works. I'm going to click this pencil icon right here, and the character style options appear. We have the test style, which is a style name that we just created. It is based on headline because we had that selected when we created the style. We have a font family under basic character formats, and we also have a font family selected. Why don't I go ahead and change this and maybe change the size of it as well, just so that we can see like the drastic difference that happens when we essentially change our existing parent style to something which we are just creating right now. So I'm going to click OK, and that's it. I don't know if you saw it, but right now it just happened. I'm going to click this guy, and this already has headline in it, but this has test style in it. If you see over here, I'm going to bring it right here so you can see clearly. Now, this is test style, but this actually has the headline character style in it. If I have this selected and I click on test style, it changes to the one that I just chose, which is Ox Next, which is the font family that I chose. The size also changed, but I don't really want that. So I'm going to go back, select headline again. I'm going to go back and select headline again. Actually, before that, I do want to show you how that affects my pages as well. If you saw this really clearly, there were changes happening to this file as well, which is all of the pages where the template essentially is applied. Now, this one is actually a parent element which was overridden. What do I mean by that? So I'm going to go back to my file here, which is my parent page. I'm going to select the headline character style again, just because I want to keep things consistent, and I'm going to hit save. Also, if you're lurking, don't forget to save your work. Alright, so what do I mean by overriding page elements? Also, if you think I'm going any quickly, it's only because we are short on time usually on these 1-hour streams. So I'm trying to cover all the things that I can for you all to learn. But meanwhile, if you have any questions for me, make sure to put them either in the YouTube chat, or also on Behance. So I have this guy here, which I've already overridden, but I feel like I probably have something that I can use. But if I don't, I have this B cover right here. I can just click and drag it to this guy, and essentially this is how it looks. Now I'm going to put this again to the side and quickly just zoom in. I'm going to press Command 0, and it brings it to like the whole page, and you can see there's this dotted line right here. I can zoom in, and this essentially means that this is a parent element, and I cannot edit it in here unless I edit it in the parent page. But how do I change it if I only want to change it in one single page? I click Shift Command and click on this element, which is going to override the parent file. And maybe I just want this to be recognition, which is what we had on this page. So I'm going to select recognition, and I want to delete this guy again. So I press Shift Command and click, and I delete it. If you're working on a Windows machine, the command is only replaced by Control. And whatever I'm saying today, command is Control for you on Windows, and Option is Alt for you all on Windows. So I'm going to expand this just a little bit, and there you go. That's how you override the parent page element. It's as simple as this, and the idea behind the stream is essentially to promote the fact that you can essentially do this on your own with your projects. So if you have a Behance portfolio, great. But if you're at location meeting a client and you wanted to show something like this, I think an interactive PDF is sometimes really fun. It also showcases your skill of using the tool that you're using. So if it's InDesign, and if it's like Illustrator, you can use stuff that you create, and this is your own deck. And this essentially is like a factor that says, hey, I know InDesign, and this is something that's my portfolio, and I created it, which gives you an insight, which gives the client an insight that we can essentially do this. All right, so we have this guy here. I also did want to talk about how you can add like a page number. I don't have anything added in here, but why don't we go ahead by adding that on a page? I did create like a page which just had the header or footer, which essentially was this guy. Let me go back ahead. Command 0, which is giving me this. Command 1, which is zooming in, and Command 2, zooming in again. Command 0 for it to screen, make it all on your, using all the real estate, okay? So I think I want to add like a footer here, which is the page number. So I'm going to go to type and go to insert special character. I'm going to go to markers, and I'm going to actually create a text box first. I'm going to click this guy here, and then go to type, go to insert special characters, go to markers, and select current page number. You can go ahead and change the font styles in here as well. So I'm going to go to my properties panel, make it like an info. I think this is white, so you can't see it, but let's just change it to socials for now, and then I'm going to keep it on the side. Now, I did add it anywhere randomly, but that's only again for the stream purposes. This is applied to the header or footer. Now let's see how that changes our design. So we have this guy here, we have this guy here. All of this has the header or footer, and now it has the page number. So as simple as that. In a matter of couple of minutes, you could add a page number to your InDesign file. These are all very basic things that I want to cover because I feel like this stream is supposed to be accessible to people who have not done this before, or even if you have, sometimes there are things that you can forget. So I hope this helps. All right, so I do want to edit some of these things that I have in here. This is how you added the page number. But what if I want to see what kind of fonts I'm using in this file, right? What if I just wanted to replace a font or do something like, hey, I'm using Degular for all the fonts that I needed in this file, but I just want to change the Degular to Aux next. I'm going to go to find and replace font, but how do you do that? You go to type and you click on this guy which says find/replace font. And this essentially will show you a list of all the fonts that are there in the document. We're using Degular Medium. It's going to show you where it was activated from, what version it is, and you can click on less info if you don't want to read about it. It also does show you what pages it's used on, so you can check that as well. And again, it also shows you the style it's being used in. I try to keep the font family to a minimum if I'm using something like this. You can use two fonts. Essentially, that's the idea of using type and hierarchy. I do want to use the same font family with multiple font weights just to keep it consistent and on brand. So I'm going to click OK, and that's how you can see all the fonts. Now I'm going to go ahead and populate some of these things over here. I think I want to add some of these things. So I'm going to click Option and drag, and I'm going to add some of my skills. So I think live streaming is something that I do, and so I added that. I do want to write mentoring in here as well, and then I also want to double click this guy and say public speaking. So we have all of these, and these are my combination of my hard skills and soft skills. We are using these just because I want to talk about my expertise and what my skills are when I'm pitching myself to a client. It's really important to think about these things in advance, and if you have this copy information ready for you, it's essentially super easy. And of course, since this is a pitch deck, you want to put in case studies. I did go ahead and put in the mock-up that we created last time, but I am going to go ahead and add something else. It says copy. I do have some of these images here. I don't know which one you guys like, but I want to include this one just because it's like very floaty and like magical, you know. I don't know. I'm just going to click and drag it. And since I have this frame already created, it's just going to drag it into that. I can double click this guy right here and zoom out. Now I'm going to bring it just about here. I want to center it, so I'm going to expand it again. Go in here, and yeah, I think this looks pretty neat, right? What do you all think? I think this gives it like an insight about that I use colors in my work, I use gradients, I have packaging, and this is something that you can hire me for. And then we have another one that we have in here. Now you can ask me, how did you create this frame? Now over here, there's this frame tool that you can use. You can essentially drag an image itself, which is going to create a frame otherwise if you don't have it. But I just want to keep everything consistent. So I created these 3 frames of the same size. And since I want it to be the same size, I use that. You can also create an ellipse tool, which is essentially this ellipse frame. You can go ahead and click this polygon frame tool as well. This is a star. You can change the number of sides that you're creating by pressing the up and down arrow key, the number of frames that you have. I'm pressing the down arrow key and the up arrow key. You can also hold option to change the sizing of this as well. I'm going to hit undo on that just because we are going to work on this for now. Okay, so I think the other one that I want is essentially a different project, which is also a branding project that I did. And all of these were very for my portfolio, and I just want to use those because I want to talk about how they are also important. I feel like a lot of us don't make portfolio projects or really scared about using portfolio projects when talking to real world clients, because we think that, oh, someone did not hire us to do this, so maybe this is not the right way to showcase your skills or your talent. But I want to say that it's a myth, because you did put in all the work, you did create all of these, you did your research, you did your client research, you did your competitive research. All of this really matters, and you want to think about how you can showcase your skills to your potential clients. Now this is the 3 projects. Now you can see the legibility on this one is really bad, so I think maybe I can change this image to something else. We're going to see if we have another one in here. Maybe I can use this one. I don't really like this, but maybe I can use this one just for like the stream purposes until and unless I find something that works for me today. Okay, yeah, I think this works. Okay, I think this works. And maybe essentially we can just oh, didn't want to do that. Essentially grab this guy here and grab this guy here. Yeah, and this is how it's being overlaid. If I press W on my keyboard, it's just going to show me how it's going to look. I don't actually like the placement of this, so I'm just going to keep it here. I'm going to double click this guy and press Command A and change the text we have in here. I think this is essentially what you would like to do with your projects that you have. So maybe not this layout, but this is just like kickstarting you into thinking how you could like portray your projects. And so this is where so essentially the idea is to showcase 3 to 5 projects that you've created. These are all case studies that you are creating, and I want to talk about this project in detail now. So I go to Juniper Vines. This is again a parent page that I created. It's called this D body slide in here, and if I go into the page attributes wait, hold on. What did I want to say? Yeah, it is essentially based on C, which is the header or footer, which already has my website link, what this is, some lines on the header and footer, and then I made D, which is the parent project, which is based on C. Now, how do I do that? I click on new parent, and when this dialog box really pops up, I'm going to call it G and then call it Adobe Live, just because this is a demonstration, and you can base it on a parent. So if you're wondering if you can use 2 parents on one page, you can use an existing header or footer on that page and click on this guy, and you see this is a new page, and I have created a new parent which already has C written on top right here, which means it is essentially using that as a basis. I'm going to delete that for now because I don't need it. I'm going to go back to the body slides and try to change it and see what happens. Again, this is a very basic layout that I've used just because I wanted to lay emphasis on the fact that it's super easy and you can't be intimidated by this. I mean, you can't, right? You can't. Again, okay, so we have this guy in here, and I'm gonna add in some details for the wine. I'm gonna hide the pages just a second, just to like press Command 0 again so you guys can see more clearly. We have project details in here, so I'm just gonna add some project details here. We're gonna talk about what Juniper Vines is, so I'm gonna double click, paste, and we'll see what happens. So it does say the plus icon. I can either click on the plus, it's gonna let me overlay the text that we have, or we can just essentially drag this out to be the size that we want. This text is hyphenated, so we can fix that in the settings, but for now I'm just gonna let it be, just because this is not following the right rules for typography for now, because it's hyphenated at every single word. We're gonna leave it for now because I want to jump into the brand guidelines as well. But we have this guy right here, which is essentially what the project is about. So before you talk about any case study, you want to talk about what the project was. Why did someone hire you? Why did you think about this passion project? Or what's the story behind the passion project? We talked about this in our first thing here, which is essentially what is a creative brief. If I scroll through right here, it does say this was the concept creation, brand name, and product offerings. I essentially just pasted this information in my InDesign file, which is right here. And yeah, the idea or the deliverables were visual identity and packaging. This was essentially label creation, but we have this information as well. Okay, let's jump into the next page really quickly. I did paste this mock-up that we created the other day as well in here, because I want to talk about more of what we did. We can talk about what this project is essentially creating, so we can just type that here. And if you're wondering how I'm just doing this so magically, I have this fun little document here, which is essentially where I'm pasting stuff from. But yeah, I want to say, if you have any questions, we're about 25 minutes into the stream, and if you're just joining us, hi and welcome on in. My name is Anika and I'm your host today. This is the 3rd episode of What Next. Thank you so much for joining us here on Adobe Live. I see that Stuart is here, Caroline is joining us, Laura, RB, Rob, Alessandra, hey, welcome on in. Friends, hi, welcome on in. Thank you so much for joining. Let me know how the weather is. It's really raining out here. So yeah, I don't know, wine time, I guess. But yeah, so we have this guy in here. You can talk about what were the challenges what were the challenges you faced when you were doing this, or you can essentially copy this and say, we also talked about brand guidelines. So you gave them a brand guideline set. You also gave them a color system and typography as well. Okay, so you can talk about all of the things that you had in the deliverables here on the side as well. So this essentially gives your potential client an idea about what kind of work you do and what kind of story or people you want to work with, and what are the deliverables that you talk about when you're first working with it. It's very different when you're working with someone for the first time and you talk about, hey, this is my idea, this is what we do, and this is my rate, and this is what we work with. But sometimes it's really necessary to think about how they can imagine you doing something. So something like this comes in really handy because you can essentially talk about how it's done, right? So we have this guy. Also, give me a second really quickly. I'm gonna go ahead and charge my laptop real quick because I feel like it is gonna die soon. So let me quickly do that. Yeah. All right. We're good now. We're good. Okay. So classic streaming issues, but all right, so we have this guy in here, and then I decided to lay emphasis on the second project we had. So that was the project that we had, which was copy. I also do want to talk about the content page because we didn't really touch on that. And this guy is right here. It is something that I've created on the parent page, which is right here. And this is something that we have. I'm going to quickly go to type and show hidden characters, which is essentially showing me what I pressed on the keyboard. Now, this means this was a tab, and this means this was a new line. So how did it become so aligned? How does that work, right? If you're wondering how that works, I'm going to go in here and create a new text box, and I'm going to write 01. I'm going to zoom in actually really quickly just to show you how that works. Tab, introduction, and then I'm going to press enter. 02 tab about, press enter. 03 tab case studies, for instance, press 304 tab contact. Okay, so we have this information. I'm going to select everything and maybe change the style of this. So or actually I'm just going to leave it at that for now, but I'm going to select everything and go to type, and then I'm going to click on tabs. Now, this little fun pop-up appears on my screen. I think I should zoom in just a little bit just to show you more clearly. We have this guy right here. Everything is selected, and if you're wondering what this means, this is a left justify tab, a center, a right, aligning to a decimal, and here you can enter the character that you want, the value of how much you want to change it. And if you click on this blank space, essentially it's gonna left align everything, and you can move it across. You can move it like this. You have this guy, you can click on this guy, it's gonna right align it. I'm gonna bring it right over here. I can change this value, click and add. You can add multiple tab stops as well. And this is essentially how you can create your content file. Okay, going back, this is essentially how I created my contents page. Now I'm gonna hit X on this guy and come back to my pages. We were, I think, essentially on page 11, and I'm gonna hide this pages tab real quick. Press V on my keyboard, which is the select option. And I see a question in chat, which I'm gonna address really quickly. And Val says it's sunny and hot here in Northern California. Oh, that is so insane. I've been hearing that it's rainy everywhere, but that is fun. Enjoy the sun, Val. Sarah Mapes is here. Hey, Sarah Mapes, how are you doing? Oliver says it's cloudy, it's nighttime here. And Claudia has a really fun question for us. Claudia says, what is your process when creating your copywriting before building your deck? Well, so if we talk about this deck, it's essentially information about me, and I think about what I want to showcase about my personality, about my work, about my skills, and what I do. So I think about case studies, experience, recognition, and contact. So these are the main things that I think about, and the way that I think about it is that what defines me and what is your one-liner or your slogan. I say that I'm a multidisciplinary designer and your one-stop shop for branding, right? So I'm your one-stop branding solution, and I'm based in Toronto, Canada. This is my information, and I think this is how you're gonna, think about how you want to be known as and use that in words to explain your potential clients or anyone you're pitching your idea to. Then you talk about what your values are and what your beliefs are. So I believe that design has the power to solve problems and empower brands. And my mission is to successfully use what I have to transform brand values and stories into visuals. So essentially, that is what you think about, and this is the way you go about it. When you talk about expertise, it's pretty straightforward because you know what you're good at. You can talk about what you do for your clients. That's brand identity and strategy. Illustration, I do live streaming, I mentor, and I do public speaking as well. So you can include all of those skills there. We have case studies. Again, this is again pretty straightforward. Over here, this took me a little while, which was essentially talking about how I came up with the story here. So there are various websites that if you go to the link that Val just posted in chat, you can go to any of these websites. There's goodbrief.io, and these are not sponsored, but these were some good websites that we've come across in the Illustrator Discord as mentors and as a team here at Adobe Live, or even otherwise people just working as freelance designers. We've just come across this as a helpful resource that you can go on and make your own profile, own brief. So if I go to goodbrief.io really quickly, it's gonna give me the type of logo that I want or the type of brief you want. So I click on brand identity and I click on food, and if I click on generate, it's gonna give you this text or this copy information, and this is just for yourself. So you can use this as something that you want to use to create your next project. Okay, so I think that I hope that answers your question, but if you have any other questions, let me know. Thank you for the question, Claudia, and welcome on in. Izzy, hi. Thank you for joining. All right, so we have this guy in here and we're almost at page 11. Okay, so we have more. I created this as a copy of the earlier one. I'm just going to put in the information that I have. I think I had more, so I'm just going to drag and drop in here. Top to bottom, it's the same project. I'm just going to use the information we have in here as well. Okay, so I'm going to scale it down just so I can fit this. I'm going to scale it back up, bring it in here essentially, yeah, and then I'm going to double click, scale it back down. That's what I want. Maybe, you know what? Maybe I want it scaled up a little bit. Okay, maybe I want it scaled up. Maybe this is not the right image because it's getting cut off, but it's fine. It's fine for now. Yeah, make do with what you have. And then I'm gonna scale it back up as well. We have some images here. Maybe I'll just cut it off on the left hand side here just because to give it that negative space. So placing your images as well in here, like this one is being cut off at the left hand side. This one is being cut off at the right hand side. I think this one is showing essentially everything like in the image, which is the mockup as well. And I'm actually going to go back and hide the hidden characters just because I don't want to see these. And if I press W again, you don't see these layouts here. So everything is fine. I'm just checking on time. We're good on time. We're about 32 minutes in, so we're good on time. We're doing great. Wow. We're doing great. Okay. All right. So, yeah, these are some projects that I want my clients to look at. So this is the same image essentially, but you can change that if you have more mockups. And over here, you can add other images. So you have something else. You can maybe add a GIF in here. If you export this as, an interactive PDF and publish it online, you can essentially view the GIF online as well. So I'm going to leave it at that for now. It's not going to play in here, but you can change, like it'll auto play when you export this online or digitally publish it as well. So we have some more images here. Maybe I need to add, I don't have any in here.
Search for photos here.
I'm sorry, I did not mean to hear that. I don't know if you heard that, but that was Siri telling me they can't look for my images. Thank you, Siri. All right, maybe I'll just add this guy. So yeah, and then we have, I'm just gonna scale it back up to fit the frame. Bring it here, yeah, and press W again. See how that looks. And okay, yeah, I think this is coming along nicely, you guys. What do you think? Okay. Let's go back in here. Also, it's 33 minutes in. I want to jump in quickly to the brand guidelines that I want to create. So I want to take you guys. I hope this gives you a quick overview of how you can create a pitch deck for yourself. This is my pitch deck that I want to use. I haven't ever used something like this. So I'm really excited to jump into it. I do pitch my clients with ideas sometimes like this, but yeah, you can make something like this about your portfolio as well. But without further ado, I want to jump into Adobe stock really quickly, which is right here. So I can go to stock.adobe.com/free, which is essentially going to give me free stock images and assets and templates. I clicked on brand guide, which is my search field. And over here, you can change the asset type that you're selecting. You can click on all, you can click on images or templates. I'm going to click on templates really quickly because what I need is essentially an InDesign file. So I downloaded a few of these earlier before the stream, but I do think that this is a good one. You can use this if you're just making your first style guide. This has facing pages, it has dummy text and like shapes for you to fill in. So it's essentially, think of it like a Photoshop mockup where you have smart objects and you can just put in your details in. This is another one which is I think more in line with the brand that we have today. So this is called Effervescent Style Guide Layout. If you want, I can put in the link of this in the chat real quick. This is the link. Oh, it's too big. It's 200 alphabets. Maybe Val can help us with that. But if you just go brand guide, this is the second one on top. You can change it to templates and that's what you'll see. Now I've already licensed this. I'm going to jump into my InDesign and show you how that looks. This is how it looks. I'm going to zoom out really quickly and walk you through how the template looks like. We have the first page, we have the contents. Again, they've also used tab stops here. We have introduction. You can change the paragraph and character styles in this, but this essentially gives you like a starting position where you can like a starting place where you can jump off and kick it off with your content. Okay, so the first thing that I want to do here is, since I'm making this for my brand, which is Juniper Wines right here, I created a CC library where I can go and I have my iconic mark, we have logo spacing, we have logo lockups in here, colors, and some things that I was experimenting with earlier. So we have the CC libraries here. I'm going to put this back until we use it. But I do want to push like an image in here, which is like speaking of the brand that we're doing today. This is Juniper. These are all Adobe stock images, and some of like, I think most of them are really free images again. But let me quickly jump in here and see if I have anything that I can use. So mockup images, perhaps something that goes to show our wine brand. Let's see. Okay, walking through these mockup images, I feel like maybe we can use something from here, right? Yeah, I think we can use this one for now. So I'm going to bring this in and click and drag. Now this is super big. I'm going to zoom out really quickly, bring it in here, zoom out. Oh, no, don't stretch it. I'm going to shift and hold and bring it in here. Okay. And now this is essentially where you replace the brand logo from. So I'm going to quickly use my CC libraries. If you don't see this and you don't see this in your workspace, it's just CC libraries right here. It's going to appear. And if you've made a CC library in a different application, you can browse through to it. I have Juniper Wines right here. I can browse through to it. So I want to go ahead and maybe put in my primary logo, which is this guy. So I'm going to click and drag it out. I do want to delete this guy and this guy as well, and then I can just drag it out in the center. InDesign essentially shows you where the center of the page is. So this is Juniper Wines, and I'm going to click this guy as well and click on brand style guide real quick. Brand style guide. You can change the uppercase, lowercase as well from type and the properties panel, but I just thought that this was quicker for now. I'm going to press W just to see how that looks. And I want to say thank you, Val, for sharing that link. If you are watching this live both on Behance and YouTube, the link is in the live chat. So you can click on that and download this template for free for yourself. All right. I think this really speaks for the branding that we have going on. It says that this is the stock imagery, this is the photographs that we would like to use for our brand. This speaks of like the environment. We are outgoing, we are elegant, bold, we have white wine and red wine. This speaks about the dynamicism of the brand. This is the logo, and this also goes very well with the brand colors. So I'm going to go back to this guy here. And also when you download it, it's an InDesign template, which is an INDT file. When you open it, it's gonna make it a new file. So you got to save that file to something, and you can go ahead and save that file. I do have this guy in here, which is already something that I did earlier. So I'm gonna use that instead. I don't think I want that. So I'm going to quickly drag and drop this guy again, bring it in the center. Yeah, I think this works. Okay. So I'm going to save. And then I can just quickly look at these. I am not going to touch on making paragraph and character styles for now, because I want to show you how you can edit the template instead of just using fonts. You can always go to fonts.adobe.com to look at templates that we have. But again, this is the company name. We're going to talk about the introduction. So I am going to talk about what the brand is. I'm going to click this guy, click on Command A, which is going to select everything. Select all is Command or Control A. And then I'm going to press Command V, which is essentially all the information that we have. Now, I think I don't like the layout as much as I would like for the style that we're going for. I want it to be really elegant, and this does not speak to the brand values that we have. So maybe I'll change the brand color. Maybe I'll add a highlight on the side. We can change the company name in here as well. I can go to my pages panel and see if we have any master pages. We do have master pages. We have the A4 master page in here. We have the master page in here as well. I can go ahead and double click this guy here and change the name. So we have Juniper Wines brand style guide, and I can do that in here as well. So I can go ahead, Juniper Wines brand style guide, and then I can do the same on the other master page as well. You can also copy paste this if you want to save time and you're not doing this like I am. But yeah, so this is essentially how you can use this template file. Okay, Juniper Wines. All right, so I'm gonna go back in here, and magic, that's how you can essentially, you don't even have to do it on every single page. It is automatically done for you. I'm gonna hide this pages real quick just to show you how that looks. All right, so we populated this information. Again, you can add your own brand logo in here. So I'm gonna add it here. I'm gonna delete these guys and center it. Okay, so this is introduction, and there you go. All right, so moving on to the second page, which has the primary logo variations. Why do we use logo variations? My logo is really responsive in here. It works for small scaled things. It works for a horizontal lockup. We have a stag lockup as well. We have the iconic mark as well. So you want to show the primary and the secondary logo variations for everything that you're creating. So I'm going to go ahead and quickly show primary logo variations in here. I think I want to click this guy again and bring it in here like this. And then I want to show something which is essentially the same color but without the subheading that we have. So I'm going to use this in here. I'm going to bring this in here, and then I'm just going to delete the ones that we have. I'm going to send it to back and delete this guy. I'm going to delete this guy, and yeah, what is this? Delete all of this. Okay, and I think maybe these should be center aligned, so maybe that kind of works, and maybe this should be like something like this. Okay, you can always align this on your own time, and yeah, work with it. So you can talk about what your logo variations are and why this could be used, and where the usage of this, where would you use these things. What is breathing space? So breathing space is essentially, if you've ever used anything in your life which is a brand, you know that there's some kind of negative space around every single brand that you see online, which is essentially the space which is the logo spacing or the breathing space around a brand logo, where you cannot or ideally should not put any other information, because it just like takes away from the logo. It can be intrusive to the logo, and that's why you need to know in the brand guideline deck how much space should I leave around the logo so that it's not really interfering with the logo itself. I do see Sean in the chat. Hey Sean, welcome on in. I know it's super late where you are, so thank you so much for joining. And yeah, if you have any other questions for all of us who's just joining us right now, let me know in the chat. Okay, so since we've talked about logo spacing, I did go ahead and did some pre-stream work here and made some logo spacing here, which is essentially this guy. This is my horizontal lockup. I do have this lockup as well. I'm gonna click delete on this guy before I actually click everything and delete. Yeah, and there you go. We have this guy in here. Oh no, it got messed up a little, so I'm gonna bring it back up. And yeah, I think this is the iconic mark. We have the logo here as well, which is the horizontal lockup. This is 200 200 height and 120% width, which is essentially this is 10%, this is 10% of the whole width of the logo. This is 50% and this is 50%, so that the total height becomes 200%. That's how this works. And for the iconic mark, it is both 50-50 and again the same in here as well. This is 100% in here, so this is like 300% on top. I forgot to enter that, but you can essentially do that over here when you're talking about logo spacing. And now over here you can essentially type, if you're using a horizontal lockup, make sure to leave 200% spacing, make sure to have 200% spacing on the vertical side, 120% on the horizontal, and same goes for the iconic mark. So you can include all of that information in the text here. Now essentially I'm going to talk about why you create brand guidelines. You create brand guidelines for your client, and if you're not working with the same client in the future and they hire someone else, you're not available, you're busy, they can give this brand guideline deck to that client, to that designer, or maybe a client if they're working with a third-party client, and they can use these guidelines for the work that they're doing. So just because we want everything to be consistent and on brand, we have a brand guideline that you can use. All right, so I hope that is clear. And then we have the secondary logo in here where I'm gonna paste like this tag logo as well. I think I wanna bring this guy in here. Actually, I think I wanna the iconic mark. I think I want this guy. Oh, no. Okay, yeah, this guy. Right here, yeah. Let's bring this guy in here. All right. We have about 10 minutes left in the stream, so if you have any questions, let me know. I know there's a lot of us joining. Something happened to my InDesign over here. Don't know what happened, InDesign. Why are you doing this to me? Okay, yeah, there you go. We got it. InDesign just decided to not work for a second. I was like, no, InDesign, don't do this right now. All right, and then you have some more colors. I think I can use like a stacked for this one. Ideally, I would have it in the same color, which is black. But since I don't have it in my library right now, I'm just going to keep it as is. And then maybe I can show this one in here. That's this one. So I'm going to delete all of this. These are all the variations that we have. You can see this is not the secondary variation, but I just clicked it for now because I wanted to populate everything in here. All right, and then we have the color palette. Now this is super fun and exciting because we have black and all of these values already included in here. I just need to change these two colors since we already have the black and white. You see that I did already add the colors that I have for the brand. I can select this shape and click on this color, and ta-da, we have the colors. And this is super similar to the colors we have, but that's actually the color we have in here. You can go ahead and name this, I don't know, viney, I don't know, you can call it whatever you'd like. You can call it red wine, I guess, perhaps, and you can call it white wine, or I don't know. I sometimes like to come up with like fun color names for the brands that I'm creating, so it's super fun to read. These values are not the right values for these colors, but you can jump into over here and take a screenshot 104, 19 and 57, and then you can change these files 104, 19 and 57. I think that was it. So you can go ahead, take a screenshot, put it in here for the site, and you can essentially change all of these values in here as well. Okay, and then you can talk about where you can use these colors. And Stuart in the chat brings up a really good point here. Brand guidelines can even cover style and tone of photography and social images. Very useful. Yeah, absolutely. I don't think this one has social images and tone of photography, but that's what I wanted to set with the brand, the cover page. This is the kind of photography and assets that we're going to use for our brand and really speaks with the brand values and the mission. So yes, Stuart is very right about that. You can include a section in here which says photography. Maybe we can actually write that in here. So photography and I don't know, 11. You're gonna have to add the tab stops in here, and you can change that. Okay, now let's go back. Where were we? I'm trying to do this really quickly. Okay, and then there is social media badges. I did not really create this before, but maybe we can use these in here. Okay, so we do have like the white background. So this essentially means what will be your social media icon, right? So I'm gonna create something like this. I'm going to delete this guy. I'm going to delete this guy. We can resize it later on. So we're going to work on that in just a second. And then I can essentially create this guy, and then I can just bring it in here. Does this work? Yeah, it kind of works. I'm gonna center it just a second really quickly, and then we have this as well. This is this one. Yeah, and then I can change the color of this to be this color. I don't really like that, so I'm gonna let it to be white. Okay, and bring it in here. We have this. I have white, black, and then we can bring the golden one in here. Oh my god, didn't want to do that. Scrolled up by mistake, but I'm sorry. Let's go back. Yeah, we're right here. Okay, so let's bring this in here, and then I'm just gonna put it here. Okay, so this gives us all these social media badges as well. I'm gonna use this as my social media badges, and then I can also change the color for this guy, which is not exactly white. And yeah, this is how you can change all of the files, the settings that we have. Now comes the brand typeface. I know we use Noka in here. I don't really remember what it was, but let's actually go ahead and try to see if we have that already selected. Don't know if we have that selected. Now these are all the character styles that come with the template. And you maybe if you want to change it, you can click on this pencil icon and change the character formats. You can go ahead and change the font family, font style, kerning, leading and tracking, all of the information. You can also change the color by going to character color and change the color for the file. So maybe if you want the brand colors, you can change it here, and that will change all of the things that we have. Sorry, my InDesign just decided to crash, so I'm gonna go back ahead and open it for you all. I'm glad I saved that file though, so don't forget to save your work while you're doing it. So let me go back quickly and show you how it looks like. Give me a second. InDesign is trying to load. Don't send report. All right, yeah, gotcha. Okay, so we are back in here. Did lose some of the work, but it's fine. Let's go back and get over here. All right. Okay, just trying to see if everything's okay. Let me know in the chat if you can see me and hear me okay still. Let's go in here. This is too big, so I'm gonna resize it. We're gonna come back. Oh, this looks terrible. This looks terrible. Okay, I'm gonna go back and okay, where is my file? Right here. Okay, yeah. I'm glad I saved all the work that I did though, because if InDesign went crashing on me, I mean, right? Chat is going crazy because I did not save. And Stuart says, nice to see Anika rocking in InDesign. Hey, thanks, Stuart. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Yeah, I learned InDesign all by myself. I'm kidding. Stuart says, oh, InDesign being naughty. Yeah, for sure. Okay, thank you so much, you guys, for confirming that you can hear and see me okay. I lost InDesign there for a second, but this is how you can create all of these. I'm going to give you a quick walkthrough because we only have about 3 minutes left. And I'm going to show you what we did today and quickly go back and show you what we did. All right, so let's jump back into it. Let's put this on the side in here. Let's put this on the side. Press Command 0 to show you how it all works. And this is essentially my pitch deck. We have my name in here. We have all of this. We have my website right here. You can reach out to me if you'd like. Hey, call to action is really important. So if you have any website, you have your Behance, make sure to include that in the project. And while you're actually going, I'm going to click here and go to publish online just to show you how that works. I hope InDesign does not crash on me again. I hope it was just like the system overloading or whatever, but we have the publish document online. You can either publish that as a single page or a spread. I do want it to be all pages and allow viewers to download the document. No, I don't want that. And I don't want this as well, but I can click on publish, and this is how you can make a link. We have the beach ball right here because it's publishing online and doing some work. Maybe I should not do this when I'm live. But yeah, it's trying to publish things, but I'm just waiting for it to publish so I can show you how it looks on the web. It does say it's uploading, so it's just going to show me how that works. Also, Untitled 3, I don't know what that is. It's Untitled 1, it's not Untitled 3. And then this is just copied this URL and I can share it with my clients, or I can click on view document. It's just gonna drive me to that page. I can see the thumbnails in here, which is this guy, or I can just press the right arrow key to see my presentation. So this is what we did, and this is how you can pitch to your clients as well. If you do want to reach out to me, you can reach out to me on my website, and this is actually a hyperlink. So it takes me to my website, which is anikaagarwal.me, and and this is what we have. This is what we created today, you guys. What? We created all of this today. All right. And then we also went to InDesign, and I'm going to close this up. We have the brand guideline in here. You can do the same with the publish online thing as well. Wow, I really went through that really quickly. I'm sorry for that jarring scrolling. But we have this. This is what we populated in here. And you can do the same for your brand. So make sure to download all of these fun little assets from Adobe Stock, which all of these designers have created for us to use for free. Make sure to take advantage of the free templates that we have on Adobe Stock. I also created a template for you all to create your own brief. And this is essentially the last episode for What Next for this season. But I want to say thank you to so many people in the chat. Thank you so much for joining me today. This has been lovely. These 3 episodes were really, really cool. And I loved hanging out with you guys while creating something that was really educative and informative and hopefully also fun. But thank you so much for being here with me. My name is Anika, and you can reach out to me at my Instagram. That's ANIKAAGG. Thank you so much, and I hope you stick around for all the fun, amazing Adobe Live programming later today with Jessie. And we have Adobe Express tomorrow morning, so make sure to stick around for that and come back on a fun Tuesday. But I hope you all have a great day and stay safe and stay creative. Until next time, bye for now.